Hey, you know, one of the games they announced for that Vision thing was a Demon Attack remake? Now I really want to get an Amico. I wonder when it's coming. Oh.
Yep, it's time for another Intellivision game, and also I'm running low on coffee. We're going to set that aside for now, because we're going to play us some Demon Attack. New Demon Attack for the Intellivision system. I remember playing Demon Attack on the Atari 2600 when I was a kid, probably one of my favorite games on the system. And this is supposed to be the superior version. And you could tell because this one has much nicer cover art compared to the 2600 version, which I will attempt to bring up an image somewhere for comparison. And not all that often you get like a full set. So you got your overlays like so, which you slip into the ghastly Intellivision controller like so. I will attempt to do this with one hand. Actually, no, I won't. You just have to take my word for it. And your full color instruction manual, which I imagine would be quite important. This is the part where I will pull up I would open up the box and pull out the cartridge, but I already did that beforehand because trying to do this with one hand is a pain in the ass and I don't want to waste your time. More so than I already have with this introduction. So we're just going to pop this in like so. Pretend it's popped in. We'll turn on the system. Let's get to the review proper. The padding's out of control at this point.
Okay, so first off, Demon Attack, released in 1982 for Intellivision by iMagic, is a shooter game with 12 different game settings, which determines the speed of the enemies, whether your lasers are guided by your movements, and whether it'll be a single-player, two-player alternating, or a weird two-player co-op mode, where you and a second player take turns controlling the same turret. And all these modes are selected via Intellivision keypad gimmick on your Intellivision controller. Demon Attack is a two-part game. The first part is where you control your laser cannon on the surface of the moon and must fend off against 3 waves of demons attacking the moon. The first wave is the basic demons, you fight 2 at a time. The second wave is the demons that split into 2 when you shoot them. And the final wave is a 5 demon formation of varying colors. Once you've cleared the 3 waves of demons, you'll rocket up to the demon mothership, where your ultimate goal is to take down the shield and eventually land a laser blast into the mouth of the mother demon, thereby destroying it, and your cannon resettles back on the moon, where you face off against another wave of tougher demons and their exploding bombs, and repeat the whole process all over again until you eventually die, and the game is over. It's a format similar to the old Taito arcade game Phoenix, which Atari would later gain the rights to port to the 2600, and then Atari and iMagic would get into a legal scuffle over Demon Attack's gameplay being similar to Phoenix, but things eventually worked out because Demon Attack did see the light of day, as did Phoenix, on the 2600. So now that we got that out of the way, the one thing that stood out from the Intellivision version of Demon Attack, aside from the updated visuals and the extra mothership round, is how fast the overall gameplay is. I'm not just speaking in regards to your movement, which is also slippery fast, but also the demons as a whole are much quicker and more aggressive in this round, even on the supposed normal play speed. As such, there is an adjustment to be made if you're only familiar with the Atari version, because that version is somewhat slower compared to this one. Once you get the hang of it, that's when Demon Attack starts to shine, because the gameplay is always fast and intense, always keeping you on the alert, always trying to pin you to the sides, and always ready for sheer frustration as you lose a cannon as a result of an errant shot, upon which another cannon will immediately spawn on screen, only for another shot to take out that cannon immediately after spawning, resulting in many lives being lost in the short term, which is why you gain an extra life after each wave cleared, which somewhat offsets the bullshit in an otherwise fine video game. Now, this is one of those uncommon cases where the Intellivision controller is not much of a detriment, because you're only using the disc to move your cannon left and right. Also, in a bit of forward thinking, or just a matter of convenient coincidence, The game lets you hold down the fire button to continually fire shots like a rapid fire feature of sorts, which might turn off some purists, but anything that keeps my thumbs healthy by not having to mash the side of an inconveniently placed fire button on the side of a somewhat cumbersome control device is a welcome feature in my book. I will admit, though, that I actually prefer the visual presentation of the Atari version, if only because that version doesn't have a big old distracting ball of earth in the background that has a tendency to throw me off at times, especially during rounds where there's a lot of lasers abound, and some of them tend to blend in with the blue. Other than that, Demon Attack is a splendid looking game on Intellivision. Demons look decent in their multiple colors, the moon and motherships are pretty well rendered by Intellivision standards, and there's little to no flickering to be found, even during the most tense of moments, which is nice to say about an old game like this. Audio, however, is a bit of a mixed bag. I feel that the pulsating ambient background noise sounded better on the 2600, evoking that somewhat tense feeling of dread. On Intellivision, it does sound a bit weak and honestly barely audible among the explosive sounds, which sound fine here. Demon Attack on Intellivision does have a couple musical jingles that sound perfectly fine for some pomp and circumstance. It's not much, but it's there. It's fine. Not much else to say there. Overall, well, it's 4 for 4 on the Intellivision front, and I'm pleased with that because Demon Attack was the one game I was looking forward to playing the most on this format, and as was the case on the Atari side, this ended up being one of my favorite games on the Intellivision system. Fast-paced, fun, thrilling little shooter game with a variety of game modes to keep the interest up and about. By all means, a fine addition to the Intellivision library. But not a MecoVision, apparently. Oh well. I really don't care. Good night.
Okay, I don't have the box for this one, but this is the cover art for Demon Attack on the Atari video computer system. And this is the Intellivision Demon Attack cover art. And you tell me, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone else in between, which one looks like the nicer cover? This beautiful painted thing, or this hodgepodge of stuff that they just slapped on there? Which wouldn't have been as easy back in the day, but I don't know. Both good games though.